On the 25th of January, Greeks head to the polls. But there's a lot more than which party gets elected at stake. Greece is one of a number of European countries facing a surge in popularity for anti-establishment parties. The radical left-wing coalition Syriza is ahead in the polls and poised for victory. But what is Syriza, and why are some people worried about it?
Syriza, the name is an acronym. It means the coalition of the radical left. The main increase in its support came during the crisis, so after 2010. So, when Mr. Tsipras was elected, it went in the polls from, say, 4 or 5% to 16%. And then when the 2012 election took place, it actually, when in the second election, it got 27%. It was the second party, it was official opposition. So its rise was quite meteoric. It went from sort of a very minor party of 5% to being the official opposition and possible would-be government party.
Support for Syriza has blossomed during the Greek government debt crisis, as the party has been the leading voice against the deep cuts in public spending as part of the government's severe austerity programme.
Greece has been in a lot of trouble since 2009, where it became clear that the amount of debt obligations it had, it may not be able to cover. It has been offered a bailout in 2010 by the IMF and the EU, and has had lots of its debt subject to haircuts. But it has had conditionality attached to that bailout, and that includes austerity. And that austerity has been employed over the last number of years and has not been without its problems and, of course, benefits as well.
If elected, Syriza's anti-austerity message would be at loggerheads with the bailout agreements from the Troika. That is the European Union, the International Monetary Fund, and the European Central Bank. This could either lead to Syriza leader Alexis Tsipras making concessions, or Greece exiting the euro altogether.
Of course, the austerity measures that have been employed, if they decide to cancel those, you wonder what the plan B is going to be.
At the moment, there is a gap between what the Troika is asking for, expects Greece to deliver, and what Syriza or Mr. Tsipras wants to pursue as a policy. So an exit is conceivable if that gap isn't somehow bridged. It's very, very hard to see how he would be able to complete or materialize his pledges about renegotiating the debt and so on without making concessions. Obviously, we can't preempt negotiations, but I think it would be political suicide to lead Greece out of the Eurozone.
Greece exiting the Eurozone would be an unprecedented move which could drag the struggling Eurozone back into deeper crisis, one that could end the monetary union altogether.
It has been said that even if Greece did leave the Eurozone, it isn't necessarily a systemic risk anymore like it would have been a few years ago. Clearly, some of the major banks in the different countries' exposure has been diminished quite substantially over the last number of years, and that has reduced the contagion effect. What this could do is, if Greece decides to leave the Eurozone, or if it's actually forced out, it might actually create this precedent that other member states could follow suit. And given how fragile the currency and, of course, the European economy is as a whole these days, that would not necessarily do much good to investor confidence in the Eurozone itself.
Whilst a move as dramatic as Greece exiting the euro still seems unlikely, there can be no question that if Syriza prevails come the 25th of January, it will inspire other anti-establishment parties. It will also bring into question the future of austerity programmes implemented by countries across Europe.